there, and welcome back to another Miraculous Ladybug Season 5 review. And hell yeah, another episode in pretty quick succession off from the previous one. Seems like we're truly living in Bizarro world at the moment. But yeah, another fairly well written episode today, which sees yet another classic villain make a return. And honestly, one of the funnier villains in the show's history. It also sees some pretty big Cat Noir Ladybug development in the form of the wackiest fever dream you've ever seen put to screen, and also digs a little bit into Marinette's backstory from before the events of the show. So yeah, quite a big episode all things considered, and continues the trend of Season 5 actually having pretty good writing across the board. And so, with all that being said, let's jump into the episode. So we start off the episode with Marinette going out on a jog through the city, where she comes across a massive talking billboard, advertising the Alliance electronic ring that Gabe's recently released, showing off all the cool things it can do. And this prompts Tiki to appear and ask Marinette why Adrian's in these ads if he's no longer a model. And Marinette replies that it isn't Adrian doing all these things, it's a 3D digital version of him, pretty much a deepfake, who can replicate Adrian's voice and mannerisms in a hyper-realistic way. And so, this is absurdly advanced technology, and since you can apparently hardly tell the difference between the real and digital versions of these people, this honestly opens up so many opportunities in the world of media. Digital celebrities reading out the news and telling you the weather for the day. You could probably create films and TV shows without ever needing the actor to turn up on set. Just generate a completely digital set and characters who look hyper-realistic. And then just send the actor who had that 3D scan, and I assume a voice scan at one point in time, a royalty check. Ka-ching! And that's not to mention how eventually this type of tech would be used for less than, moral means. Fake crimes, fake security camera footage, erotic films starring well-known celebrities. Whew! The list is endless. What has Gabe unleashed? And moving on from that tangent though, Tiki then mocks Marinette for being still so obviously in love with Adrian, and so Marinette engages in a pretty loud and public argument with her, talking about how she has no feelings for Adrian anymore, and that her life as Ladybug means that romance just isn't in the cards for her. I love how she even bothers to try and whisper, as if someone's not going to notice that she's looking down and talking behind the back of her hand to a tiny red thing, a little creature that's peeking out of her fanny pack. Anyway, she continues on her way and comes across Owlman, her principal, trying to help a cat down off the top of the billboard. And the cat panics, he slips, and he gets caught by his cape, ready to fall. And yet when Marinette goes to transform, in public by the way, because a car had just gone past, another mystery Ladybug appears and saves the day. And of course, when Owlman thanks Ladybug, she does not reveal that she's in fact not Ladybug. And this kind of pisses Marinette off a little bit. At least until she recognises her as one of her old classmates. And I'll be honest, I have no idea how to say this name. The Brazilian Portuguese dub seems to pronounce it as Jacqueline, or something like that. But that's not the way it's spelt in the subtitles. And my Google search of this name literally took me to the Miraculous wiki, or a bunch of pages talking about this episode. So, I'm just going to call the character Jacqueline for now. If I'm wrong, please, tell me how to pronounce it. So, her classmate books it out of there, and then Owlman, who's also just lost his mask, throws down a smoke bomb and runs away from a student at his school who knows who he is. Cringe! Anyway, Marinette's a little shell-shocked by all this, understandably, but then she decides to go and buy some paint and sort all of it out, because, well, I guess her friend has a paint shop. Anyway, Marinette makes her way to the art supply store that her friend works at, and goes in to speak to her. And yeah, apparently they're friends from the year before at school, and yeah. I'm not even going to try to understand what the timeline looks like for this show anymore, I guess. Didn't they just have summer break? What's going on here? But anyway, she seems to be the equivalent throwback character for Felix, pretty much being a proto-Marinette from that old anime concept. And she's also sort of a proto-Alia, the character that Alia replaced, I guess, in Marinette's friend group. Also, a bit harsh that this seems to be the first time they've hung out since they were in the same class though. Mutual ghosting? Kind of awkward. Anyway, Marinette very obviously tries to get her to talk about how she's been dressing up as Ladybug and doing some vigilante work, whilst we also see the principal of all people enter the store, looking for a new mask. Anyway, they continue to show us how ridiculously exploitative this Alliance ring thing is, as everybody can have their own virtual Adrian to dress up and talk to. Oh, it's so creepy. Oh, and this person also shares a little bit of an obsession with Adrian, but maybe not to the extent that Marinette does. She more just seems like a bit of a fangirl rather than a total stalker. And then Marinette goes on to overshare about Adrian's life to her friend, talking about some pretty personal topics, like his struggles with his dad and modeling. Maybe don't unleash his personal problems on random people he doesn't know without his permission. Especially the type of person that probably frequents forums dedicated to talking about Adrian and deep diving into his personal life. Regardless, the principal comes up to the counter and everyone gets into a debate about the ethics of superheroism. Marinette thinks that everyday people with no powers shouldn't be trying to get involved as heroes, as it puts them at too much risk. And in the end, it's just going to force actual heroes to take even more risks to try and help them if things go wrong. And honestly, Marinette goes a bit hard on these people here. Like full on yelling, throwing her arms around, marching up to them, poking them in the chest. If the animation was this detailed, you'd probably even be able to see a vein pulsing in her forehead. And how she openly yells at her school principal and makes him feel like shit about himself. Poor dude. He only wanted to save a little kitty cat. And so her friend then shuffles him off to take his order or whatever, whilst Marinette snoops on her alliance ring to see if she actually is the fake Ladybug from before, which, of course, she is. Before a news report forces her to run out of the store to fight a bunch of Jurassic Park escapees. Okay, what sort of world is this? They have ultimate deep fake technology. There's a scientist who seems to have successfully created dinosaur, which are extinct by the way, or at least the type of dinosaurs she's using. So dinosaur DNA, a T-Rex, flying around with pigeon wings. She's resurrected a T-Rex that went extinct about 66 million years ago, and then she's not only done that, and fully recreated it, but then on top of that she somehow managed to successfully splice its DNA with a pigeon to give it wings strong enough to allow it to fly. And yet somehow the medical technology does not exist to simply revive Emily Agreste. Sure mate. Oh, and that's not to mention the fully sentient super robot that Max invented in his bedroom. But anyway, whilst Ladybug defeats the dinosaur, Mr. Damocles loses the will to live and leaves the store. But hey, at least he got a free mask out of it. But anyway, Marinette returns, and it turns out she forgot to take off the Alliance ring, and thus it's tracked her movements. But luckily, Jacqueline deletes the data because she just thinks it's a bug, and well, yeah, apparently this triggers Gabe's own Alliance ring, which uses his wife as his avatar, which is both cute and sad, and it lets him know that somebody's exceeded normal human capabilities, and you can say that again. He quickly realizes that Ladybug's been using that ring, and that Jacqueline is the owner of the ring, and thus she must be Ladybug. And apparently, that flying dinosaur pigeon is fast. It took her 135 kilometers in 10 minutes, so that's what, 810 kilometers per hour? AKA 503 miles per hour, which is just a touch slower than the average speed for a commercial jet. How the hell is any government in the world letting this scientist breed these things? A flying T-Rex that is as fast as an aircraft. It's pure insanity. So yeah, she gets identified, falsely, as Ladybug, and then he akumatizes Owlman into Darker Owl. And he sends him off to find her, but honestly, this part was confusing to me. Because Jacqueline never discouraged him. She encouraged him. Marinette was the one that went hard on him, so why would Gabe think that Ladybug was shooting him down? And hell, why would Darker Owl think that? He knows it was Marinette that was talking down to him. Gabe only tells him to hunt down Ladybug, who he says discouraged him. Thus, wouldn't Darker Owl think, oh shit, Marinette must be Ladybug, because she was the one who was mean to me. Not, this random girl must be Ladybug, because she was nice to me. Gabe never actually tells him who Ladybug is in all of this. So it would be all down to Darker Owl's guesswork. So yeah, that part did not make sense to me because of that. Also, side note, I really like that Gabe uses the Horse Miraculous to teleport his Akuma to Damocles instantly. Quite smart. And I mean, since he has the power, may as well use it. But anyway, he also gives Damocles the power of the pig, but before he accepts it, Damocles tries to tell Gabe that Ladybug's always supported him. But isn't that also just straight up bullshit? Didn't she tell him, literally the last time we saw the Owl hero, to leave the superheroing for the pros? Am I wrong here? Have I forgotten something? Wasn't she kind of harsh to him and telling him to hang up the cape? Ladybug is not supportive of this clown. Anyway, Marinette leaves without telling her friend to not be Ladybug anymore, and so Tiki guilts the shit out of her as she's hopping on her scooter, and she heads back. But she's too late, as Darker Owl is there ready to attack. And he's also trying to steal the Miraculous earrings because he's too stupid to remember who was crushing his dreams earlier. Anyway, either that or Darker Owl is low-key racist. Also, he has a gun that shoots out the Jubilation power that basically sucks you into a happy dream and makes you forget about the world. And damn, maybe the pig is actually a better weapon than you'd expect. Suddenly I feel like it's quite underrated. Honestly, why isn't this the standard weapon for the pig anyway? Tambourine? What are you talking about, tambourine? Ugh. Anyway, before she gets attacked, Jacqueline manages to record Al admitting his Akuma's in the mask, and so now Ladybug knows what to do, and honestly, is it just me, or have a lot of characters recently just gotten a lot smarter? Like, they actually have clever strategies and stuff like that. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, anyway, we cut over to Adrian, who, despite no longer having to perform like a dancing bear for his father, is still a sad boy. Sitting on his couch playing video games whilst Plag tries to play with the Alliance Ring. When it activates, his Darker Al sends out a message telling Ladybug and Cat Noir to come face him, or he's gonna drop Jacqueline headfirst from a great height into a can of paint. Basically, pretty soon this blue paint is going to be purple paint. And so they turn up, they save her, they fight a little, all the classic story beats. You know how these things go. Ladybug gets a clock lucky charm, and they both get hit with the Happy Vision, which of course paralyzes them, as they witness themselves defeat Darker Al, and then defeat Monarch, but only after finding a business card with his address on it. They then go on a date, and they kiss, after being interrupted by Mr. Damocles yelling at them to turn off the giant alarm clock in the cinema so he can hear the movie, and then of course, yes, they kiss, and it turns even more weird, as it transitions to their wedding, where they're wearing special themed costumes with all their super friends in attendance. And then the bouquet of roses turns into a clock, and then the clocks invade Paris. And now Ladybug and Cat Noir have a doll, which is also their child. Very cursed. And then they're on a tropical island relaxing with another kid and a fake moustache for Cat Noir. And then they have 4 kids and they get an ice cream, and then they realise it's all a dream. And after a moment of them being sad, they wake up. Honestly, it was quite a clever little scene. And so completely random. And honestly, the best part of it is still when they find Monarch's home address in Damocles' pocket and just go beat him up. That should be the true ending. But yes, I'm sure this one had the shippers in tears, especially since the implication is that Ladybug has mega repressed feelings for old mate Cat Noir. Anyway, they break out of the dream just in time, and it's actually Cat Noir that gets the win after activating Rage Mode. Hell yeah, Cat Noir being relevant. This episode slaps, I tell ya. Of course, everything's fixed, Monarch cries his salty tears, and then we finish off with a scene where we see that Ladybug is now in mega denial. Oh yeah, it would be silly if we were in love, wouldn't it? Hell yeah, everybody! Lady Noir is on. And yeah, good ep. Damn good ep. That's the kind of shit we needed 2 seasons ago, Asterisk. Come on! But yeah, I loved it. Hope they continue with the high quality. But of course, as always, these are just my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the episode? You like it, hate it? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.